goes streaming.
Okay, it's starting to connect.
Okay.
All right, connecting.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm
I
live.
see you on there right now.
All right. See if that address works.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Of course, the fact that we're on Messenger, that might be messing it up.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna have to eventually turn Messenger off.
I know. Let's see.
Or, without video, you can just be talking.
Oh, can they hear me on there right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
And there's no one in the room to ask, so I don't know.
I see 2 people in there, but that might be us.
Could very well be.
Let's see. Well, send me. Let's see. Now, did you do this through YouTube Studio, or did you do this?
I sent you the only stream thing with my stream service. So I don't know. I don't know if it's YouTube or if it's OBS. I don't know.
Oh, it's through YouTube Studio?
I'm not sure.
All right. This is very interesting.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Let's see. What if I typed that URL in that you just gave me?
Hold on a second. Griggy, hello. Can you hear me? Sam Rockwell, hello. Can you guys hear me? Dickerdoodle, hello.
Can you guys hear me on there? Or?
Yeah, can you hear Dakota?
Let's see.
They hear me. They can hear you.
Oh, they can. Okay.
They can at least hear you.
Let's see.
Both good. We're trying to figure out how to do the video part of it.
Right.
But either way, at least Dakota can now speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're saying they hear both of us good. Probably because you're through the live messenger and I got the desktop audio on, so that helps.
Right. Okay.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Been trying to figure this out. I'm hungry.
You hungry?
Yes. Oh, I haven't eaten. Well, I mean, I did hours ago.
Okay.
So how is everybody today?
You know, I think this might what you need to do. You need to put your secret screen code into it. I think that's what you got to do. So go into YouTube Studio.
Oh, I can't now. I'm already live. I'd have to shut it down and go back and through and do everything again, and I ain't doing it.
Okay. Well, I guess this will just have to do, won't it?
It'll just have to do for right this moment. Yay. So how's everybody this evening? Anything going on with you guys? Dakota?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, I'm speaking to you too. Sam says this YouTube stuff seems really technical. Well, in order for me to do this, I have to use a streaming service. That's how I go. I stream through my OBS, get on here, and there's a way to invite people on here through my OBS. Chris has to remind me how to do it. Because through regular YouTube Studios, you can't invite anyone. No one. Besides, I don't like, oh no. What? Oh, yeah. Besides, I wouldn't be able to show my puppy. Look at Fluffy. Look at him. Look at him. Isn't him so cute?
No.
He's so cute. Fluffy. There.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a couple humans to send to him to eat, so I think I'm going to finish up my little bag of chippies.
Chippies?
Yeah. New York City subway rat. Oh my god. I tell you what, that Sam, he cracks me up. Sam, when you going to move to high and get the hell away from New York City? I'm trying to get everybody to move near me. Yeah,
you even want Dakota to move near you, don't you?
What? No.
You even... No. Oh. Why not?
Look, I don't even want Deonda living near me, and she does.
No, is that right?
Yeah, you go out here to 13, take a left, and it's pretty much a straight shot to her house.
Oh, wow.
He's $98,000 away from a Dude, you don't need that much.
98,000 miles away from Ohio.
No, 98K.
Oh.
I mean, $98,000.
Kilometers.
Could be. Sam says he's spoiled. Sam, you have a daughter in college, don't you? Is it him? Is it you that has a daughter in college? Sam must have left. He's not answering me now. Dag.
Let's see. What?
Says I have a daughter not in school yet. Okay. Well, get this. My granddaughter, she goes to a school in Columbus for the deaf. Okay. Now apparently, most of the Columbus schools have not opened. She's one of the schools that is open. In Franklin County, which is next county over, Columbus, is getting hammered by the coronavirus. And I said, what the hell is she doing going to school in Columbus? Sam says, I'm not bringing her with me either. Oh, poor little thing. So I'm scared to death. But our governor is thinking about, well, he's already, like I said last night or before, he's lowering the boom. And what morning show is it that has Gail on it. Oprah's girlfriend. What morning show is that? It's not Good Morning America, but Dakota. I think Dakota left. You have a 99.9 chance of survival. CBS. Well, anyway, our governor was on CBS this morning. And, you know, he's one of the governors who is a Republican, by the way. Who is heading the effort, you know, with what he's doing. And he's put together a task force to check the stores because he's made it mandatory. And if you're a store in violation, that's where all the customers have to wear a mask. They are not allowed in, and they are required to post it on their windows and doors. You have to wear a mask to come in, and the stores have to enforce that. So they have this task force, and if a store does not enforce it, then the first time they'll get a warning. If they go back and you're still not enforcing it, you're being shut down. And that's all there is to it. It says, Greg, as I found out today, my cousin has the virus. Hope and pray not only for her, but for everybody that has it. We'll get through this. Greg, I am so sorry. Hope she makes it through it. I really do. I didn't realize, another friend of ours, Ramon, he was young, did not realize he died with it. He died in less than a week. Get 2 different flu shots over 1 month, you will be fine. I already got my flu shot for the season, but... Anna, hello. Hi, everyone. Off today, getting my Christmas Snoopy out. Alrighty. Sam says, no law that says you gotta wear them in the streets according to Biden. No law that can make you wear them outside. No, he's not saying that. My governor's not saying that. He's saying when you go into a store. In an enclosed place. You don't have to wear them in the streets or nothing like that, you know, because you can practice the social distancing. If you go outside, go in the store, no. But if you go into a store, the stores have to force them. And like our governor said, Dwayne, he's like, we got to make people understand, you know. So, Greg said, thanks, Les, and everybody. Sam says, Biden said he wants Americans to wear them outside. I already said, I'm not going to go walking outside and wearing one. You can kiss my ass. I'm not going to wear one if I'm outside on my property. I'm not going to wear one if I'm in a car. I'm not going to wear one if I'm walking through a parking lot. But if I go into a store or go into a store, if I go into my doctor's office, go into the hospital, whatever, I'll put a mask on. But I'm not doing it and outside when I can be 25 feet from someone, you know. They gave my aunt a base for COVID and it helped her get through a Z-Pack. Yeah, I'm not gonna wear a mask when I'm walking around. I'm really not. I guess Dakota decided to leave us all. Sam said, did you see California's Thanksgiving rules? No singing. Has to be outside. No singing. 2 hours max. No more than 3 different families at a dinner. You've got to be kidding me, really? Sarah says, Sam, I'd like to see them try to enforce that. It's probably just a recommendation. Sarah, hello. No, I did not know that. Did not know that. Well, no more than 3 different families at dinner. Okay, that could be about 25 people. Sticker said, I think in California you can get fined, and I think in Texas as well. Animal lover, hello. Hello, sexy lady. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. Isn't it great that Z-Pack helps? He was lucky. Well, if all we need is a Z-Pack to cure COVID. Hold on. Whoop. Guess not. I'm guessing that the rules are for public gatherings open to anybody, and not things like a private dinner. Yeah, that's what our governor is saying. Is you know, he doesn't want any gathering over 10 people. Um, he was warning people. If you invite people into your home that do not live there, you are risking. You know. I'm guessing that the rules are for. Oh yeah. Sam says no 3 people. If your cousin comes over, and then she brings her boyfriend, and then a neighbor. Oh. Sarah says Z-Pack is an antibiotic and useless against the virus. Sam says 3 different bloodlines, no limit on people. She had mild symptoms, but said getting up was hard. Xana. Well, I was reading the thing that they came out on Yahoo News where the CDC was saying the type of mask to get, and the N95 really not for the general public. A 3-ply general surgical mask is what to get. A t-shirt mask or one of those neck gaiters or a face shield or a cloth mask is not really going to do a whole lot. A 3-ply surgical, and he said that's why we wear them in surgery. We are having our Thanksgiving outside. Hope it is not cold. We're not having Thanksgiving, so. At least not in this household. No mask is good enough. Your eyes and the millions of pores on your body not covered by that mask. Nope. But snot and spit don't come out my eyes either. And it says only 6 people. Here it says, and I hope it will be sunny and warm for you all. That'd be weird to have Thanksgiving outside for me. Weird. It's weird not going to grandma's house for Thanksgiving anyway. Huge ass house, dining room, huge ass living room, and all this hustle and bustle, ton of people everywhere. Good for me too here in Iowa. Yeah. Of course, it's weird for me. People have never seen snow. I'm like, what? It sucked to live in California. No viruses, prefer eyes. They have heat, moisture, and no nose hairs. To battle to get up India. He says this is about 10 years ago when I lived in the Ozarks. I saw someone with their turkey fryer in the middle of their front yard. Oh, I've seen that. And it says my dad is staying in Tampa, and Tampa. Sad. Thanks. Hope it is warm. Sarah said that's about as outside as I'd be willing to get. You know, I hope your dad is safe. Turkey fryers are dangerous. They can explode. Just like with everything else, you just gotta be careful. You know? I mean, really. Tim says, what if it rains? You can still cook out there. Yeah, I got a lid on my porch, so we can grill. I could have a turkey fryer out there if I wanted to. We could sit out there and eat if we wanted to. I ain't doing it in November, though. Forget that. Guys, I don't think these potato chips are going to cut it. I really don't. You use a couple gallons of boiling oil. If that spills, it makes a colossal mess and can seriously injure people. That's why it should be done outside. And said he is stay still. Had power. My ice cream is gone. Sad. Poor Anna. Her ice cream's gone. I haven't made any plans. If I go anywhere, it will be to my brother's 50 miles away or my neighbors across the street. I ain't doing shit. I'm gonna watch the parade and go back to bed. Or stay up all night, watch the parade, and then go to sleep. I don't even get to see my kids. My grandkids. His outside porch cooks. Inside only. Hi, Mike. Yeah, if people don't know that the turkey fryers are to be done outside, those are the people that will sit there and bring their grill inside when there's a blizzard. Sam's getting turkey flavored down later's candies. Uh-huh. Mm-mm-mm. Have you guys noticed that, and maybe it's happened and I haven't seen anything? Sarah says, do they really make those? I've never heard of them. And it says, tell you what, screw no salt diet on Thanksgiving. I guess I shouldn't be eating potato chips in front of you, huh? I seriously have no problem with salt. Sam says no. Sarah says, I'm not really too concerned about Thanksgiving this year. Just not into it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Don't tell no one. Thanksgiving has always been my least favorite holiday. I could really give a shit if it comes or not. Except for, I really do like the parades. And I like the fixins. But those fixins I can have all year round. I'm not a turkey person. So I can care less, to tell you the truth. They have things like bacon flavored soda and dirt flavored jelly bellies. So why not turkey flavored now and laters? Or a knockoff? That's true. Dale, hello. Sam says 2020 sucked. Yep. I think I'm going to throw a New Year's Eve party. One, somebody's birthday. And two, bye bye 2020. See you later. For real. Yeah, right, Liz. I'm telling you. Oh, you guys. Honestly. Now, maybe you've seen stuff, but I have not yet. But have you noticed? I've not heard. It's maybe going on, they're just not reporting it. But any of the Black Lives Black Lives Matter movement, Antifa movement, white supremacist movement, anybody destroying shit, causing a riot, killing people? Or is it just me? They're gonna keep playing game with lockdowns. They should lock it down. Look what New Zealand did. Locked down the whole damn country, got rid of it, boom, now they're enjoying themselves. But no, us Americans gotta be told, or gotta say, no, nobody can tell me I can't do nothing. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna do this. That's America for you. Of course, we were all raised that way. BLM is demanding that Biden make concessions to them. Oh, jeezy cow. It's calmed down quite a bit. Black Lives Matter can make whatever, can demand whatever they want of Biden. What I'm saying is there's no destruction going on, there's no killing going on, there's no rioting going on that I see. Y'all, November 13th is tomorrow. The first year with two Friday the 13th. Really? Never noticed that. If you want to watch riots, go something news. Oh, PT News. He streams live riots around the country, and yes, Antifa is still breaking shit. Really? How's come they're not? I'm not hearing about it either. They're probably too busy posting on on Parlor Gab and MeWe. Mike says, and there were riots in Baltimore last week. No, I never heard one person said anything about riot last week in Baltimore, and they were reporting from Baltimore. So lockdown New Zealand would be much harder than locking down the U.S. except for Hawaii. There hasn't been a black guy killed by the cops in a week. Wait for it. Sam says I watch a channel that has live riots 24 hours a day. Seriously, I'm talking about the extreme factions of those groups. And Tifa is still acted up. Sarah said, oops, I meant locking down the US would be harder than locking down New Zealand. Sam said, what channel is that? YouTube. What the heck is Parlor? Well, from what I understand, from what they told me in here, it's another, it's a site where people can go and spread their theories, conspiracy theories and stuff. I guess people are leaving Facebook to go to it so they can spread whatever shit they want to spread. You know, funny when people find out that there is no Antifa. Um, who was the leader? Never found any. Really they destroyed part of Baltimore. First Friday, March 13th, first day of lockdown. Huh? Sam says you get like 16 like kids screaming Black Lives Matter at 2 a.m. and not one person is black in the crowd. They used black people. Sarah said Parler is a competitor of Twitter that has taken off in the past few days. Dale said Antifa was made up by Don Jr. Not saying that there are not problems. There are, but most of them caused by right-wing nut jobs. Antifa was floating around years ago. So, PT News, Dale said, not been to Parler. I don't plan on going to Parler. Sam says he covers riots. He hates Antifa. Sam says so. The 36 cops that were killed in direct result of riots in Portland, where people were holding Antifa flags, in the 300 cops that were blinded, was done by an idea, is what you're saying. Mike says, Dale, my wife works with Homeland Security, and I guarantee you that most violence is from far left groups, Antifa, BLM, and anarchists. And I think every one of them should go to jail. So why did the people who tried to kidnap Governor of Michigan have Antifa tattoos on their neck? Sarah said, I heard of Antifa before 2016. Yeah, I heard of Antifa years ago. Sorry, but that is not what intelligence says. Dale, sorry, but you are not in the know. Dale said, it does not matter to me. I just want the violence to stop. Mike, I am as much in the know as you. I agree, Dale. Sarah said, Dale, don't pollute your browsing history by checking that Parler. Exactly. Dale, I'm sitting next to Homeland Security training manual. Are you? Dale said, I am out. Everyone have a nice day. Dale, don't go nowhere. Stay. Stay. Antifa was first stars in Germany in 1936. Yeah, but they have never named a leader of Antifa. But I tell you what, the Antifa anarchists, Black Lives Matters, who are the destructive ones, the ones going around, they need to be arrested for destruction and killing and maiming cops. The hate upon the cops. Like I said, my uncle was a dirty ass cop. Dirty, dirty, dirty. That's like I told Mom. I said, I know shit about your brother that you don't want to know. You don't want to know. And I said, but that has not discouraged me from loving the cops. The cops here I won't say they're 100% perfect on everything, but I mean, they've been there when I need help. So, And Biden even said the people that did the riots, that was doing killing and all that, he even said, I sat there and watched him say it, they need to be arrested and dealt with. Wars before about 8 years ago, the far right groups were more violent. Eva has a network of losers. Connie, don't have me I don't know. They get bailed out by people like um, Kamala Harris, and Antifa guy hits a cop in the head with a brick and they bail him out. See, that's ridiculous. Well, if Biden wins come January 1st, they will clean that up. If Trump wins, they will let them run wild. Why would, these people that say defund the police, but yet, it's funny. I was watching a protest and they were saying they need to defund the police, get rid of the police, and they were being harassed and said, I'll call cops. That's so funny. Kamala was a pro-cop prosecutor. Um, she had several chances to prosecute cops and did not. She's changed her tune. Look, they all changed their tune. They all do. I don't know why you're surprised. But I'm a big cop supporter. I don't believe in defunding. I believe in retraining and constant. I think that some cops are under such stress. I believe that they need to go through their psychological counseling more often, if at all, if any go at all. Holly, hello. Yeah, it is funny. I watched quite a few protests that when things got too hot, they called for the cops. I know, but yet they want them defunded. And hopefully you can weed out the bad cops. You know? Make the cops go to the police academy for 12 months instead of 8 weeks. We need to be able to ask hard questions. One being, why is it that inner city areas are so violent, but you can't ask it without being called racist? Exactly. Exactly. I actually had a person call me racist. I am probably the least likely person to be racist. For real. They should also have at least a 2-year degree. I agree. A bachelor's degree is better. A bachelor's would be great, but an associate would be fine. They should go to college for 2 years. Learn something. Dot connector, hello. 1933, Nazi Germany called to defund the police. My English stepbrother is a cop, says Holly. Mike says, and it isn't because they are poor. Most poor are not criminals, and it isn't because they are black. Most blacks are not criminals. It's the culture. Exactly. The thing is, they have short school training, but long on the job training. That's true. And you guys, I want people to understand that this is what I told my granddaughter, Donna, talking about so many blacks. And I said, look, I said, if you and I travel to South Central LA, who would stick out like a sore thumb? I said, because 99% are black. Now, you and I can walk downtown. Who would stick out like a sore thumb? Because 99% are white. I said, now, here, the crimes are going to be committed by white people. Maybe a couple black. I said, in South Central LA, it's going to be black. it's a situation where the minority is the majority. But to tell you the truth, I said America's got to wake up. It's not the black people. Now, you know who's ahead? The Spaniards, the Latinas, the Spaniards, Spanish. He just got an award for being Cop of the Year, recognized by the NAACP because he has such a good reputation in the area he lives in. Sam says 900,000 cops. Out of them, you get 30 jerks a year. Most cops are good. Exactly. Average cops save 3 people a year. Now times that by 900,000 cops. And so Biden says when he gets in, now when you file to get in America now, you can wait in America while they file. So if you don't pass, all you got to do is just take off. You're already in the country. Tio, hello. 1994 crime bill. Mike says it's a combination of hatred of cops and glorifying violence. It's a cultural problem unique to inner cities. You know what? If if a politician was smart, they would actually go to the inner cities and live there for like a year and ask the people, "What do you want? What do you need? What do you want?" And learn what it's like. And then maybe help the inner cities. That would be awesome. Trump had a lot of black and Latino voters. Black people woke up this year. Now they need Mexicans to replace them. Dot says the legal system was changed from the founding fathers' legal system, common law, to maritime admiralty law in 1971. All the problems stare them slowly until what we have now. Sarah said Cory Booker did that. Smart. Maritime, that's law for on the waters. Yeah, Mike, but sovereign citizens, they say that we are under maritime law and stuff like that. Probably we're going to start their own party. The Democrats are done until they let 12 million people in. It says Mike, it was brought onto the land in 1871. Hmm. So anywho, so this country might as well get over it. You know, we are a true mixing pot. Um, there are so many people in this country. First of all, that has nothing. They have nothing to do with the founding of this country. Their family doesn't. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm second off the boat, second generation off the boat from Spain. We had nothing to do with the founding of this country. You know, just my grandpa said, you know what? Um, we need to go to America, and you will be Americans. They weren't allowed to speak Spanish when they got here. They weren't. Not around him, anyway. Because they were American. I'm proud to be one. And I am proud to be one now. Look at Baltimore, that has been the worst crime-ridden city for the past 60 years, ran completely by Democrats. Well, that's their fault. Yeah, but we didn't get $60,000 a year job, so the minute we landed, Theo says Hollywood glamorizes thug life. People are brainwashed to stereotype their lives to the projected media image of them. Mike says, I'm not sure about that. Mike says, we are not founded on slavery. Slavery was not a tenet of our Constitution. We just had slaves at the time. Well, when this country was first starting to be founded, there was none. That came later. There's a multi-generational poverty, and the concept of the underclass are a very complex sociological issue. Exactly. And the thing of it is, I believe education is, slaves were here since early 1500s. Sir, the underclass can best be described as people whose whole families are involved with the foster care and criminal justice system. Nobody finished high school, nobody gets married, etc. Do you know out of 12 million slaves brought across the Atlantic, only 300,000 were in the USA? I can believe that. Mike, Aaron Hughes has the documents to prove that the Constitution was replaced in 1871 too. Are you a sovereign citizen, Dot? Slavery has existed for as long as people have. That sounds like a conspiracy theory. No, he sounds like a sovereign citizen. Tim said everyone was a slave. Yeah, you go back to biblical times, there were slaves left and right. Come on now. For real. There are 95% of the African slave trade was to the Caribbean and Central and South America, mostly for sugarcane plantations. Mike said millions of slaves were transported by the Netherlands. Dot says, not a sovereign citizen, I'm just after the truth. Yeah, that's what they say. Slavery is mentioned in the Bible. No kidding. I mean, look at the Jews back then. They were enslaved for 400 years. Jan Jan. Hello, Jan Jan. Even black people had slaves, and that is the truth. Many Irish refugees and orphan trained children were unofficial slaves. Exactly. People don't believe me that the Irish were slaves. A lot of people were slaves. It's just, well, you can basically say that in a roundabout way. So were white people back at the beginning of, late 1800s, and so forth, because they worked for nothing. They had deplorable conditions. They weren't paid a thing. And the companies, that's why there's labor laws. Mike says the problem is blacks were treated poorly after slavery was abolished. Yes, they were. But like I said, there are so many in this country that wasn't even here when that happened. Seems our iPhones were made by slaves in China camps. Exactly. You know? Yeah, so every empire in the world history was built on the backs of slaves and paved in the blood of the natives. Slavery isn't a racial issue, it's a human condition. Exactly. Thing is, there were not laws against Irish such as redlining. Look, if you're forced into slavery, you're forced into slavery. That's all there is to it. That's true, Mike, mainly because you couldn't identify them just by how they looked. Exactly. But nowadays, there's so many blacks, whites that had nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. Nothing. So we should be way over this by now. Hey Liz, I'm going to listen to you going to sleep now. Your voice is comforting. Aw, thank you, Kayleen. Or Clean, Kaylee. Hope you get a good night's rest, hon. Mike says blacks from West Indies like Kamala generally do better than African Americans. That's why there's no systemic racism. Well, first of all, uh, Kamala was not a slave, but Kaylee, hun. Well, I like to call you Clean, but I get confused because I know Kaylee, you've told me a couple times, and I still keep wanting to call you Clean. Thing of it is, we should be over it by now. Come on, folks. West Indies population as a whole does better. We should be over it by now. You know, we really should. And what upsets me is, of course, I don't know how we got onto this subject. In Mississippi, the '70s, when we had Sanford and Son and all the um, Sanford and All in the Family, when we laughed at the dumb shit that offends us today. Yeah, I loved um, Sanford and Son. I loved Good Times. You know, those were the shit. I loved All in the Family. Um, what's that one where Wheezy? Oh, what's the name of that show? George Jefferson, The Jeffersons. No, that was funny. But not really. African Americans are still behind in the wealth gap and will take another generation or two to catch up. Mike says intersectionalism, intersectionalists are the problem. Like the squad, they are divisive. That's the problem. We need to get over this. We need to get over the divisiveness. We really do. And like in the inner cities, I really think education and not being afraid to get an education. You know, education and make sure those kids get a good education. You know, with teachers who are educators, not teachers who are there because they were forced to be there. You know, an educator. And to let the adults know this is your children's future. The better they do, it will help you in the end. Help them help themselves because they can grow to help your situation. As far as some of them might go into politics, some of them might be activists, you know, some of them might really want to help where they came from. You know, give them a fighting chance. But how? That's the big thing, intersectionalism. So within the group of women, the black women have it worse than the white. Oh, I beg to differ on that one. The trans have it worse than the blacks. They divide groups according to the preset list of who suffers more. Oh, I beg to differ. I know here where I'm from, me being a single white lady with no kids, you're beneath scum. You get nothing. Nothing. If I was a black woman, I would have gotten some help. But since, like I said, I was a white lady, no kids, nope, I got nothing. No help. So, I beg to differ on that one. We should know we have more in common than what divides us. We should also accept, cherish, and celebrate our differences. Yep. There's only so much the schools can do when the children have no support for their education at home. See, that's what I'm saying. The adults need to be taught, you know, hey, education is important. Get some adult education in there. Give them a fighting chance. Let them know they're worth more than they think they are. And that's the problem. Inner cities, they feel they have no hope. Some just don't want to be better than they are. Others feel they have no hope. Give them hope. But it doesn't matter what you have suffered as an individual. They look at population and groups. That's the issue. Well, that's true. That's true. But is there a right answer to all of the questions? Is there? I've read and heard more than once from people who work with gang kids that they never saw a child join a gang who had hope. Exactly. Give them hope. Some of them may be on the fringes for their own safety, but joining one, that's another story. That's why I'm give them hope. Some parents who live in the inner city, they don't have a choice. This is where they're stuck. And they don't want it. They want better. I know there is no kid I know of that wants to live that way. When they're young, they want to go outside and play. They want to ride the bikes. They want to play on the playground. They want to have friends. That kind of thing. They don't have to sit there and worry about, okay, what gang am I going to join? Give them hope. But is there room in society for everyone? Meaning, and this is what I'm meaning. It's like we were talking here. My sister was a mentor for a girl whom she called a teenager who, as a child, had to sleep in bathtub because she'd be less likely to get shot by stray bullets. See, and that's what happened to my Donna, my granddaughter. Um, there were bullet holes in their house. You know, couldn't live like that. You can live 3 months without food, 3 days without water, but you can't live 1 second without hope, in my opinion. Black men have been marginalized since the 60s. Welfare made women independent, imprisonments, and not needed in the home, and still BLM doesn't value black men. The hope for what? Give them hope. And then there are the conversations I've had um, with QB nurses and alt school teachers who advocated mandatory sterilization for some groups. That is so asinine stupid. That is so asinine stupid. Any woman from certain neighborhoods in big cities or had certain last names in small towns should be sterilized before leaving the hospital, and the baby too. Damn, that way you get the boys. Oh my god. I hope the black men have a role in society and are neglected in the home. They don't have that. Black women have social mobility. I think black men are very important, you know. But they don't have training because daddy isn't there to help teach them to be a man, you know. You think that, but their culture does not. Black men are not needed in the home in their culture. That's the problem. I think that goes back to what I was saying um last week or something like that, maybe, where I was saying, I may be a lesbian, but I like men, and I believe that men and women have their roles and have their place, and that men need to be allowed to be men for real. You know, I told that to a woman I know who teaches at a regular high school, and she said that all the alt schools here have stricter rules than the regular schools. Black men are needed to be leaders in their homes, to have goals. Men need to lead the home. I once dated a man who said he wanted to be reincarnated as an inner city black guy so he could run around and impregnate women and abandon them without consequence. He says they sterilized black folk back in the 50s and 60s under the guise of sickle cell anemia vaccine, and it's declassified. Dakota, hello, she's still at it. Yup. Sarah says leading the home does not mean being a tyrant. Exactly. When told we don't need you, then what's the goal? What to live for? I'd be like, you may not need me, but my child does. You know, and that goes training on women. I said the same. I said the same thing. Men and women should be equals in leading the home. I believe men should be allowed to be men. Women should be allowed to be women. But some of these women gotta get some training. They really, really do. They got to get some training. Yeah, I can believe that, but they didn't also sterilize Italians and Greeks, who also have a slightly increased risk of sickle cell anemia. Holly says, I wish a doctor would sterilize me. I have had too many abdominal surgeries and have too much scar tissue, so they won't unless it is needed. I've never wanted kids, says Holly. Patriarchy is outdated. You see, and that's the problem. I think men should be a strong force in the home. Look, in my family, the men are the strong forces in the home. But was never a tyrant situation. The women are just as equal. Just as equal. They just have different functions. But there's in my family, I, both of them. I don't see my parents being over the other. I don't see my grandparents one over the other. Um, they're equal. But but dad is the leading force in the home. Grandpa is the leading force of the family. You know, grandma was the matriarch of the family. you know, my dad treated my mom, and still does, as equal, if not higher. But dad is the driving force of the home. But mom was the one that ran the home. So the lines are blurred when you're getting told all the time. That's why I said these girls need training. Girls need training. So do the boys. All of these issues are cultural, but we can't discuss them without being racist, without being called a bad person. It's not a cultural thing anymore. It's across the board. Here's my thought, says Mike. We can bring up cultural problems so long as we are not coming from a place of hate. It's not victim shaming when you have good faith and want help. Ollie says, I got spoiled freaking rotten because I was the only girl growing up. Cole says, hello, Les. Hello, Nicole. Theo says, my grandpa always said it takes two to tango. Life's a dance. To raise kids, you need a partner. And I truly 100% believe that. 100%. 100%. White picket fence, hello. I've always said, for the first couple years, a child needs his mama. That's all there is to it. Dad is around, but the child needs his mama. But after a certain point, a child needs the daddy. Whether you're a girl child or a boy child, you need your daddy. There's something missing when the dad's not there. And now it's not just a black issue. It's not just a Hispanic. It's not just a white. It's not a cultural thing. It's a human thing now. It's a human thing now. It really is. Nobody stays together now. I know. Late relationships are as disposable as napkins. I always have a great dad and a great stepdad. I got super lucky. My stepdad accepts me just as his own. My grandpa did. He accepted. I didn't know till I was 13 he was my mom's stepdad. And the only reason why I found out is because I started asking questions. Because I finally got smart and I said, Mom, who are these birthday cards from? She said, what ones? And I said, who is this granddad and Helen? I said, was great grandma married before? I mean, great grandma married again or what? She said, no, that's my real dad. And I went, huh? She said, my mom was married before. She divorced and married Kenneth. So grandpa's your stepdad? Yes. Oh, okay. And that was the end of it. That was the true end of it. We make no distinctions. My Uncle Jeff was 16 when he found out that Greg and my mom were half brother and sister. They had no idea. They assumed Like Gary was his last name was Wade. It wasn't, but they assumed it because it was never brought up. Nobody ever thought anything about it. Nobody thought anything about it. I know plenty of people who've stayed together. Some of them shouldn't have, but I'm not in that relationship. My ex-wife's boyfriends knew better to ask my daughter to call them dad. Tio said, yep, even the lioness spends soul time with her cubs for a few weeks, but after that, her instincts tell her these cubs need dad. And need dad, Leo, in the family now. Exactly. Holly says, I call both my dad and stepdad dad. Neither of them mind it. Holly says, my stepdad is the one that walked me down the aisle when I got married. Aww. Trust me, it's a human nature your blood father minds. I know my dad would be pissed if I called somebody else dad. Of course, my mom would be pissed if I called someone else mom, too. Ooh, she'd be pissed. No, I moved far away, Sam. He knows he can't be in my everyday life and is glad I have someone else where I live. Well, he says I've had many discussions with him about it. I know my granddad, he couldn't say anything about me calling Grandpa because my granddad was never around. Grandpa's the only grandpa I ever knew. So I'm not really sure how my granddad, my mom's father, ever felt about that, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't care. Grandpa was the only grandpa I ever knew. The only one. He's too proud. I would kill if I'm still paying for my daughter. Holly says, my mom and dad were horrible together. I am just glad they both found people better suited for them. Holly says, my dad has a great wife. He doesn't pay for me. Never has. I was 18 when they divorced. Hmm. Kia said, I live in Michigan. Our weather is bipolar. So I said, you okay, Les? Yeah. You know how something goes down the wrong tube? Well, this decided was having trouble what tube it wanted to go down. So, well, I mean, he did, but not child support. I'm one of the lucky ones of all my friends. I'm one of the very few. Like say my class for instance, because for some reason they all stuck around and we're all friends on Facebook. And I am one of the lucky few that A, not only still have their parents, but B, that my parents are still together. There are about 20 or 30 of my classmates that whose parents have stuck together. Rest of them, no, or they've passed away. Um, so I'm one of the lucky ones. Um, but people don't know how to stay together like they used to. There's my parents have stayed together and are still alive. Same here. My in-laws are. James says my in-laws are rich. I won't allow them to pay for my daughter's school or buy her a car. I can do that. That's how my dad would be. Dead serious. He'd be like, "That's my responsibility." I grew up with a lot of people who were in single parent or step families because a parent that died. There were some kids whose parents I assumed were divorced, and that hadn't been the case. Aww. I've been married 29 years, says Tio. Go. My parents have been married 53 years. Ollie says, congrats, Tio. 21 years here. Yeah, I can't believe my parents have been together 53 years, considering I've been begging for them to get a divorce since I was 10. I was 10 years old. Mom, divorce Dad, please. Divorce him. Yeah, you got lucky. Meant to be. My grandma's like, why are they still together? I was like, I don't know, Grandma. I have no idea. Like, well, I told Linda, she leave him, she can stay here. I'll help her. I don't know, Grandma. I know, I'll be right here. Mike says, night chat, good night. Nice chat, good night, all. You have a good night, Mike. Thank you for coming in. Theo says, yep, 3 beautiful daughters. Cole says, congrats. I've been married for 32 years. Oh, I remember when my parents, when they hit 32 years. Like, Mom, you sure you're not going to think about that divorce? I love my father because he's my father. And past 10 years is about the nicest he's ever been to me in my whole entire life. And that's the truth. When I started having heart attacks, it scared the shit out of him. But my dad and I still can't be together more than 20 minutes before we start getting grumpy with each other. That's about the max we can stay around each other. Yeah, so damn, we old people. Dan says, I want more kids. I'm afraid I will have a boy. I can't teach him how to traverse his way in this new world. I'm having problems with it. Teach him old school. Dead serious. Teach him old school. That's what I'm doing with my grandkids. I tried to do that with Ian and Cameron, and it'd probably be the same thing with my grandkids. Oh, Grandma, you don't know anything. Just like Ian and Cameron. Oh, Aunt Leslie, you don't know nothing. Because they think they know it all. But one thing I can say, and I believe this 100%, one of the saving graces with the boys, they're 2 different men. They really are. But they're both at their core the same. And I attribute that to my dad. Because neither one of their fathers was ever there. And they were never kept from the kids. That's just it. They were never kept from the kids. They ever wanted to speak or see him or anything else, they had full... Yeah. You know, they were never kept. I always got along with them. both of them. Matter of fact, got along better with Cameron's dad than Cheryl did. For real. But it was my dad. Because at least they had my dad to teach them. And I am thankful for that. You know, it taught them both. You know, you are responsible for you. You are responsible for your family. You know, taught them what it was like to treat their girlfriend or wife or whoever. You know, they saw how dad treated my mom. You know, equal. Dad ran the house. Dad was the leading force. But mom ran the house, and you do what mommy says. You know, they were equal. And that I am thankful for. I think the dad's role in the family is not appreciated enough. And I really blame the women, because sometimes men don't know how to freaking act anymore. They really don't. And these women, they go around, and if the guy doesn't act or say or do a certain thing that they want, because I see it with my sister, these women accuse men of bad things. And how's a man supposed to fight it? Like, I never hurt her. Yes, he did. He threw me down. He pushed me. And that's all a woman's got to say. The man's in jail. You know, so a man's got to tiptoe. And they don't know how to act anymore. Oh, do you want... Men should be more in touch with their feelings. Well, I hate to tell women this, but men are in touch with their feelings, just not your way. They're in touch, they don't talk about it. They don't. I wish I had the patience with my own kids that I have now with my grandchildren. Maybe it's just because I'm older now. Am I the only one? No. No, we're all in the same boat. I said, I think that is normal T. My mom is more patient with her grandkids. They want to be treated like a queen, but don't know how to act like one. And that's what I'm saying. These girls need training. She also didn't believe in post divorce visitation rights for men or in fathers having custody. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Men made those kids too. You know? Sarah said her son, who was a preschooler, had minor surgery, and she didn't tell her husband about it. And then couldn't figure out why he was mad at her. Exactly. Sam says, I'll pay the rent and bills, but I want a hot meal when I come home from work. Sarah said, I asked her husband if he knew about this, and she just stared at me. It's true. And Sam, you know, if it's a traditional relationship, like with my mom and dad, yeah, I have a hot meal, but if the wife or girlfriend works too, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50. I mean, I asked her if her husband knew about it. Oh, I knew what you meant. Sometimes says Holly, sometimes I have been the one making more money than my husband. Sometimes he has been the one. We have a pretty equal relationship. Exactly. Exactly. And so order me food at least if I'm paying for everything. Yeah, says I think it's dirty when divorced parents use their kids to hurt each other. It hurts the kids mostly. Exactly. Sarah said, when I worked, I liked having a hot meal when I came home from work, so I prepared one. Look, believe it or not, I'm a domesticated person. Um, when I was not the breadwinner, I made sure there was hot food on that table. I had lunch and dinner fixed every day. Waiting, waiting, and literally dinner would be ready when they came home or almost ready. Food was always hot. But I was always a workhorse. I was always the worker. I always made good money. I always made good money. So I was actually for years and years and years the one who was used to supporting everyone. And I did it with a smile on my face, you know. And then it came time where I couldn't. And, you know, so um, Sam said my ex was like that, used my kid as a pawn. I said I cannot work right now due to COVID. So I've been changing and so I've been cleaning and cooking the meals and doing laundry. I said doing the grocery shopping, all that jazz. Well, yeah. There's a, if the accusations are true, that's another story. Sam says I don't even care if she works or not. She don't have to work if she don't wanna, but make me a meal then. Yeah, I think that would be nice. Over the years I worked with lots of women who made more money than their husbands. Not one of them said he had an issue with it. Boy, I did it first. I ain't gonna lie. First relationship I was in that I made the least amount, I was like, oh, I'm not kidding you. I had a problem with it. I was in a relationship one time with this girl who was mad. I mean, she didn't know how to handle the fact that I made a lot more money than she did. And she was used to making the money and being the. And here I come along, and I was like, I made a lot more than she did, and she didn't know how to handle it. So when it happened to me, I was like, oh damn, now I know how she felt because I didn't know how to handle it. Um, Holly says, my husband would brag to his friends about it. Sarah, oh my god. He has said Biden said he wants a 6-week nationwide mandatory lockdown, Europe style. Stock up on toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I was wondering if there was going to be another run on that shit. I mean, even in lockdown, they were allowed to go to the store. But the people are talking, some of the stores are talking about putting a limit on what, if it starts to look like that, they were going to start putting a limit. Like one on the toilet paper and stuff, they were going to put a limit on it. You should have paid poor and stuff, stuff that money in the bank. I said, we have Sam. Sarah said, I've seen limits on various products off and on around here. There haven't been any limits on anything we could buy for a long time around here. Just like we haven't had an issue with toilet paper or nothing. Although I haven't had a need to buy Lysol. I mean, we've got Lysol and bleach, things like that. Some of our savings got spent, though, this last year when a tree fell on our house. The insurance was being lame. Damn. Harris wants strict contact tracing. I think they should have contact tracing. He says, but we save everything we can. Our Kroger has limits again now. Really? Luckily, ours don't. Truckers are going on strike, I heard. They're talking about it. Which, to tell you the truth, I don't blame them. They need to be paid more money. They're the ones that kept this country going. It may have been struggling from time to time with supplies, but the truckers are what kept this country going. Because they didn't get a bailout, they need to be paid more money. Yep, on paper products and disinfectants. Um, they were definitely essential workers, and they should have. I've said this before. Essential workers, they're the ones that should have gotten um extra stimulus and stuff. You don't see the nurses and all them um what, being paid $1 extra an hour? That ain't no. Give them chunk money. You know? Truckers are our lifeblood. Exactly, because you can transport products on a train. But how are you going to get from that train to the stores? Hello, truck drivers. Truckers are underpaid, I agree. The chain shortage, um, well, the chain shortage has pretty much resolved itself. All I said, coin shortage was because they stopped production for the 2 months or so during lockdown. Sarah says, not long after the spring shutdown, our infamous truck eating bridge claimed another casualty, and the load of toilet paper was ruined because it was raining. Oh man. Average trucker makes 150 a year. They do okay. Well, it depends on where you live too, on if they make that much. But I mean, 150,000 a year in New York is really not that much money. $150,000 here, shit, you can be a millionaire in 10 years. Sarah says, Holly, much of the coin shortage was due to coins being locked up in closed businesses. Local and regional businesses were affected the most. Holly says, yep, that too. Sarah said, um, if I recall correctly, it was industrial toilet paper on those big 18-inch rolls. Sam says, not at all. And whether you're independent or with a company and what you haul, yup, it was a perfect storm, so to say. Yeah, because my dad retired as a truck driver. I know how much he made. I ain't gonna lie, growing up, for where we live and how the inflation and stuff and everything, yeah, he made good money. My dad did. Let's put it this way. We never wanted for a damn thing. He was able to retire early. Then he went back to work for the post office, driving a truck, which he said was the easiest truck driving job he ever had in his life. And my parents have more money than they know what to do with. So truckers can make good money, you guys. um, your living expenses are probably relatively low, like mine are too. Sam says, Les, they got this new channel where you hear Art Bell while watching a truck drive. Awesome. Ollie says, mine too, Les. My problem is, you know what helped my parents? They don't help nobody. I mean, at least not family. They never helped me. No, I can't say that. I can't say they've never helped me. Very few. But, you know, these truck drivers, they should go on strike. There's not, if they go through what they went through last time, there's not enough. They don't get enough sleep. They don't get enough pay. For what they did, they do not get enough pay. It's not easy being a truck driver, folks. It is really not. It is not. My dad just barely retired in 74. He only retired because the store he worked at for 45 years shut down all 3 stores. Damn. You know, gas prices are going to go back up to $4 a gallon, normal in February. Ollie said it is driving him nuts. He wants to still work. Yeah. My dad did. Like I said, he retired really early. I think he was like 54, 52. About my age when he retired. And he was able to do so. And then after a year, he went back to work for the post office, driving a truck. Which I was like, Dad, does Teamsters allow that? But because it was a government job, he was allowed to do that. And so he got to keep benefits, worked for the post office, and because he was in Vietnam and a vet, they vested him, I don't know how many years. So they vested him that. So he only had to work something like 5-6 years and retired again. And Dad said, I'm done working. So the man's got 2 retirements and Social Security. I mean, really. Cross country trucking is hard on the guts. Yep. Yep. Sarah said, I met a man who was on an aerospace engineer and lost his job due to the end of the space shuttle program, so he became a truck driver. He didn't know before attending truck driving school that semis have 18 gears and 2 clutches. Oh, he didn't. Cross country trucking is hard on the guts. It really is. Sarah says, so he gets 2 pensions? Yeah. But he worked for them. Yes, he did. He did. My dad was thinking about going to work at Lowe's or something for Poops and Smiles. He was thinking about, because there's not a department in here he doesn't know about. Everywhere from woodworking to painting to electrical to you name it. He and his wife came to a meetup I attended a few times. One night he was going to leave that meetup and hop into a FedEx truck. Yeah, a semi has a, well, there are the newer semis. Some of them are automatic now. But when my dad drove, he didn't have that. He had the 18 gears and all that, and double clutch. You double clutch it, or you know, you had it's, and it was just so fascinating because I would ride in his semi because behind the house we lived in there was a gas company, and they allowed him to park his truck, his semi, because he got to bring his own. He had his own semi he drove, and he got to bring it home on the weekends, and he'd clean it and stuff. So he'd drive it from. He'd have to come out of the gas company's driveway and drive around to get to our driveway, and I'd always ride with him in that thing. My friend and neighbor works at Lowe's. He's considered an essential worker. Yep, they are. Holly says, I worked at Lowe's. It was my favorite job until we got a bad manager. The manager ran off the entire crew, even people that had worked there 30 years. um, Yeah, they are considered essential workers. Oh yeah, I've worked for terrible people like that. One person really can destroy a lot in their wake. Yep. And Holly said, yep, that store is not the same anymore. Sarah said his wife told me earlier that tomorrow he and his crew are going to unload trucks full of Christmas trees. Awesome. Holly said he eventually got fired, but it was after the entire crew quit. I remember when I was really, really young, and my dad would bring his semi home. Well, the freight, depending on the freight, my dad was able to bring some stuff home, but he wouldn't bring stuff home for the house. He would bring stuff home for me and Cheryl. So we had those giant coloring books. We had those crayons he would bring home, water guns, water pistols, all that kind of stuff. It was always kid stuff. He wouldn't bring anything home for the house. It was always stuff for me and Cheryl, and he wouldn't bring cases of it. But the stores wherever they would unload, um, they all liked Dad, and so they'd say, they tell him like girls like this, which girls like that, and he would say, "Yeah, I'll take a couple." And they tried to give him a bunch, but he wouldn't be greedy. Um, he would he'd say, "No, I just need two. I got just two girls." Now that one time the water pistols, I think he brought enough for the whole entire neighborhood, because they just gave it to him. They're like, here, you know. Um, were they slightly damaged? No, these were brand new. They just like that. So, just depending on what type of freight it was, you know. So when he had toy freights, Cheryl and I benefited like crazy. But they don't do that anymore. I don't think. I mean, that's when we were younger. When we got to be I won't say junior high, but like fifth, sixth grade, that kind of started slacking down because our tastes were more expensive. It was like, you can bring me home a radio. But I loved music, so he would always bring home. He's like, "Les," he said, "yeah." He said they had these, and He said, "I'm not sure if you like them or not, but," he said, I got a couple cassettes here that I thought maybe you would like." He said, "Have you ever heard of a David Bowie?" I was like, "Yes." He would say that every time. He said, "I got this one tape here. It's called Blondie." I was like, "Yes." So he would bring me home some cassettes once in a while. Pat Benatar and all them. Poor Cheryl. For some reason, it just seemed like he never delivered country music. Cheryl was the country music one. I was the rock and roll one. But, but yeah, I hope the truckers don't go on strike, but if they do, I understand. Um, it is not easy driving a truck. And my dad said, even though it provided um a roof over our heads, um nice big house, which they still have, um private education if we wanted it. I didn't. After 8th grade, I didn't want it. Up to you know 8th grade, I got to go to public schools. My sister, she still stayed in private school though. She was 2 grades behind me. She still wanted to stay in private. um we had a beach house in North Carolina. It provided a lot of things, but he even said, he said a trucking man should never have a family. because he was never home, you know? And that's one of the things that he's regretted. He was never home. And some of those men out there, they're forced to fudge on their logbooks, which now I'm glad that most of the trucks are on GPS now. Whether they all are now are whether they are now or not, I'm not sure. But I know most of them are on GPS, so they can shut. They have a legal record, computerized record. They have to shut them trucks down. Before they were all done by hand, and they were forced to fudge the books so that way they can get the freight there on time, and they wouldn't get it. There were times they wouldn't get any sleep, or the companies, if it was time for them to shut down, the companies wouldn't pay for a hotel room for them. This and that. Now, Dad drove for good companies, and if he didn't have a sleeper in the back, they would pay for his hotel and things like that. I had a friend in high school whose dad was a trucker, and he took a big pay cut to do local trucking versus long haul. Yeah, my dad stayed long haul the whole time. And but he's got plenty of plaques. I mean, you know, I know one of his awards that he got was over 1,000,000 miles and not one accident. My dad is one of 3 people in the state that can independently teach truck driving safety, which why he didn't do that, I don't know. He's also I forget what all this shit got awards for too. But he said a trucking man should never have a family. He didn't get to see us grow up. There'd be times I wouldn't see my dad for 2 or 3 weeks because of the way he worked. You know? Picket fence says my ex-wife was a truck driver. When we met, she worked for Abel out of Nurk for a while. Then we went to CRST and drove cross country. Awesome. Is Abel even still? I don't think Abel's in business anymore, are they? And I haven't seen a CRST truck in forever. 28 days out, and at least every month. Yeah, going them cross country. I liked it when he would team it. Now that's bucks. That was money. Because you figure you're at least you're on that road 16 hours a day, if not more. I mean, you can constantly do it. Because as long as you're down 8 hours and you got sleep, you can drive right back again. I don't know about Able anymore. It has been years, but one of my son-in-laws works for CRST. Okay, because I have not seen a CRST truck in forever. And I definitely haven't seen an Able. I forgot about Able till you just wrote it. Isn't that crazy? Well, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. To be honest with you, I'm starting to get tired. So I want to thank everyone for coming in. Sorry about the late start. We were trying to get Dakota up here with me. He was on here with me, at least by sound, but he hung up, and I don't know why. So um, I want to thank everybody for participating. Um, Good night. We had a nice chat, and how the time has flown by. Yeah, tell me about it. So thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody's thoughts, input, this and that. And I hope everybody has a great night and great day, and we'll talk later.